Holy crap, this thing's immaculate. No scratches. Alright guys, we gotta talk about the Redmi Note 8 Pro. So my first impression of this phone is that this is such a big upgrade from the Note 7 last year, whether it's in design or performance. The curved glass back with a gray to black gradient feels a lot better than previous flat cover with like rounded edges. Redmi's phones have always been very budget friendly and just overall the best bang for your buck. So that's why they always sort of sacrifice some part of it and the materials for it. With the Note 8 Pro though, everything just feels a lot more premium to it. Like the dark green kind of solemn look it has just adds on to that whole low-key premium flagship kind of thing. I'm really digging it. Alright, the cameras are a whole new upgrade to feature an all-new 64 megapixel primary sensor. The module's centered down on the back cover. But it's actually a pretty unique approach to lining up the cameras because right here at the very bottom, that's not the fourth lens, that's the fingerprint scanner. The fourth lens, it's actually right here on the side, so it actually makes a very solid one kind of module look. Now it has a 6.53-inch LCD display, not an OLED display, that's the most, common seen in flagships. But it's understandable because, well, cost saving. Well, the biggest highlight here is definitely its 64 megapixel Samsung GW1 main sensor. The pictures you take have a resolution that go up to 9248 x 6936. This is actually kind of funny because I remember at the launch event, they were telling us that, with the 64 megapixel camera, you can shoot up and blow up like a 3.5 meter tall kind of big ass poster with it, which is kind of weird because who would actually need that? But anyway, we're still gonna test it regardless. Here are some comparison photos of the 64 megapixel camera. So the biggest perk of having a massive resolution is the freedom of cropping and reorganizing picture composition. Compared to a regular 12 megapixel sensor, you'll be able to zoom in greatly without losing details or clarity. Compared to the previous generation Note 7, the Note 8 Pro has a better white balance and has more natural looking colors. The portrait mode is really one of my own personal favorites. Clarity, detail, colors are all preserved nicely and things look very natural. The bokeh looks great too. You don't see any unnatural blurring occurring on the edges of your subjects. So overall, color and exposure levels were well done. Ultra wide is pretty standard so far, pretty much similar to other flagships on the market. But unfortunately, when it comes to backlight pictures, the results aren't as satisfactory. You see a lot of overexposure. Overall picture tone is kind of dark and color contrast just looks awful. Now night mode was surprisingly great. When you're taking still photos of let's say buildings or landscapes, you get better results because, well, things aren't moving. But really, the colors look pretty natural and you get some pretty good detail shown in the dark areas, so good job. Okay, now let's talk about the chipset. This is the thing on this phone that either makes it or breaks it for a lot of you, I know. So the MediaTek Helio G90T isn't the most powerful chipset out there, I know that. But here's the thing. With chipsets and processor SoCs, I know you guys are probably frantically searching on the internet for Antutu scores, benchmark scores, but you shouldn't treat those scores as like your Bible for whether you should buy a product or not. They're just a reference number. You can't say MediaTek or Snapdragon is right away better or one or the other is much better than the other, because for a smartphone to be good, it has to be a work together between the OS and the chipset together to see if they can actually match each other perfectly. So that's why this is very hard to say whether the MediaTek will be much better than the Snapdragon. The most straightforward way for us to test performance is by running the phone through extensive games. So, after playing Honor of Kings and PUBG for like a good 2 hours, I have to say the MediaTek is holding up very, very nicely. Aside from the occasional drop in frame rate, the overall performance was smooth and fluid with absolutely no lags. But the heating issue though, man, this guy actually has a pretty severe heating issue. But I mean, we've seen this happen with a lot of different flagships out there, like the Redmi K20 Pro. Whether they're using liquid cooling or any other cooling mechanism, they still haven't come up with a great way to bypass the heating issue. It gets uncomfortably hot when you game for a while, and you can feel it even over a case. So around this area where the chipset is, it just gets super, super hot. So that's pretty much the biggest issue with this guy right now. It's just a heating issue, but everything else, the performance was great. Playing games on it, no problem. No lags, no, major issues with the overall performance. So, I mean, I've tested this for about 2 weeks. It's been perfect, but I can't vouch for it in 2 years. So this is something you're gonna have to, think about. I can't physically actually test this for 2 years right now to tell you guys that it'll be great. But I can tell you right now, it's still a super beast. Right, and also it comes with 18-hour fast charge with a relatively large 4,500 milliamp hour battery. And I'm just glad that they're, upping the numbers with every phone release, because it just feels so much greater to have that much juice when you're watching videos on YouTube. So overall, I think this is a very, very solid device for $200. I mean, there's actually nothing out there that can compare to its cost effectiveness. If you're on a tight budget, I can't virtually recommend anything else but this. Like, this is the guy you go for. Great cameras, large battery, powerful performance, fast charge, hard durable outer shell, premium designs, everything for $200. So, super great bang for your buck. If you're thinking of buying this phone, it's important to know what's really important to you, whether it's the long-term projection of how this phone will go, or it's just that you want something powerful at a very affordable price. All right, so anyway guys, thank you for watching. This is about it, and we are actually giving away this phone to one of you. We're bringing back the giveaway. Yeah! So please follow the links and the giveaway links down below, and I will see you guys soon.